So, the very first incident that I can remember that I've been able to track this all back to was 15 years ago. So, I had coached gymnastics at a little gym, and I had helped with recreational classes at a gym. But this was the first gym I was at that I was a competitive coach. Not only that, this was the first competition that I got to attend as a competitive coach. So, this is what happened. There was this big event. It happens at the Atlantic City Convention Center. It's called Starstruck. I had to think about it for a minute. So I'm going to coach Starstruck. Now, I go with a carpool of other coaches and the owners of the gym. We all are in a room together, a hotel room. And the first day is fine. And the first day is setting up equipment, because it's all rented equipment shipped out to the convention center. So the first day is just setting up equipment for the competition. Now, we do that. I get back to the hotel. Everything seems normal. And then out of nowhere, I am just so nauseous. So I don't feel right. So I go into the bathroom just in case. And within minutes, I was just throwing up violently for a while. It just wasn't stopping. So everyone is kind of just asking me if I'm okay. And at this point, I and everyone else just kind of assumed that I came down with some kind of stomach virus. I had a massive migraine that night. So, for the sake of not getting the competitive team ill, thinking I was contagious, they decided to send me home. So, because I carpooled, my car was at home. So I had to call my mom, who had to bring my car to Atlantic City and drive me home. That's what she wanted. So I never even got to attend the competition as a coach, and it was kind of a big deal as far as my job, because it was going to be the first time I got to coach a competition. But I got so sick. I was sick for days after. And that was really the first incident I can track everything back to. So at the time, we all thought stomach virus. No one else that was exposed to me got it. And 15 years later, now I understand these big convention centers, a lot of events happening, have very bright and a lot of fluorescent lighting, usually fluorescent, but even if it's LED, because of how much it is and how bright it is, it can still be a problem. But fluorescents are the worst. I have had extremely severe reactions to fluorescent lights for 15 years. And I still do. Actually, I have much faster reactions these days. It used to take a while, or at least longer than it does now. I can feel reactions to them within minutes now. It's wild. So ultimately, for years to come after that, anytime I was in these huge convention centers, I would get so sick. And I would look sick. Now I understand, because it's been a pattern for 15 years, that every time I was exposed to those, I would have symptoms, and kind of the same symptoms for a long time. Now I have those symptoms and then some during exposure or after. But anyway, it was the lights in the building. One of my symptoms that is very prominent is photophobia, which is basically extreme light sensitivity. And you can get very ill-like symptoms, including nausea and vomiting and migraines, when exposed to either lights that are way too bright or fluorescent lights, specifically for my condition, because fluorescent lights produce a lot of UV radiation, and that triggers my disease. So it was a big problem for a long time. I never knew why. And it wasn't until the year of 2023 that I really put the pattern of history together and realized that every single time, I used to call them incidences or episodes, every single time I had something go terribly wrong, I was exposed to those types of lights. So I don't go to convention centers anymore. Let's just say that. Unfortunately, not only coaching gymnastics and being at the competitions for years, but I also took another job, probably only a couple years after this first incident, where every single event was in a convention center. I have been in convention centers across this entire country. Here, the lighting in them is absolutely terrible for my health. So, knowing that helps a lot. But if I was going to go in chronological order, first incident to last, 15 years ago to current, the very first one would be Starstruck in Atlantic City.